Well, you've just mentioned some of the skills, so let's maybe look at the titles and the grouping of the skills for the 4 modules which we've organised for this year. The first workshop, which takes place on the 31st of March, just to clarify, they're all in Cologne.
Yes.
You've grouped there speaking transparently and listening effectively, together with building relationships.
Yeah.
What's the reason behind that?
Well, the first 2, speaking transparently and listening effectively, are in a sense fundamentals and underpin all the other skills. And yes, so that's the obvious place to start, and to get into participants' heads very, very quickly that when you open your mouth and utter a sentence, grammatically correct or grammatically incorrect, it is unclear. And you have to face that reality that the other person is going to be misunderstanding, misinterpreting, and you may not necessarily see that. So, and that just makes you more sensitive to how you actually approach any act of communication. And similarly, when you're listening, what you're hearing is not what the other person is saying. Take that as a default position, and you start listening in a different way whenever you're talking or whenever you're listening to another person. Building relationships plugs into that, because in a sense, having worked with people trying to be internationally effective, the message comes back again and again. Number 1 success factor is the ability to connect to people, to build relationships. So this little cluster are in a sense fundamentals. We need to do these well, or nothing else follows.
Okay, fine. Let's move on to workshop 2 then, which is on the 26th of May. There you've grouped decision making and influencing together with managing conflict.
Yeah.
I can imagine a lot of people will be interested in that combination.
Well, that's again tagging to very pragmatic business needs that people have, to sit in meetings, to sit in formal discussions and try to take decisions together. And the people approach decision making, they understand the word decision in very different ways. For you, a decision may be binding, it may be a collective enterprise, something that takes a long time to get there, and once it's done, it's done. For me, a decision may be very iterative, something we can do and then change. So I think we need to sensitize people to one of the fundamental dynamics of business, taking decisions, that it's not a simple process. People handle it very differently. And of course, as you take decisions, the other 2 processes follow. I try to influence. As I influence, you kick back, and potentially we encounter conflict. So that's the obvious cluster of those 3 skills.
Okay.